And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today. My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous.
Yes.
Okay, this is funny because I was about to say Happy Tuesday, and I was like, okay, it's not Tuesday.
No, today's Wednesday.
This is Wednesday.
But they always say that change is as good as a rest.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So I'm going to comment on your change. I love your hair.
Oh.
I really like it. And coming, because I'm a hairdresser. And it complements it just has pizzazz to it. It shows just free, kind of like that, the free of you. And I just I really like it. So Barbara Beckley, you did good.
Well, I got to thank my beautician. Let me give her some love.
Kudos and love.
Miss Jamila out there, she's listening. She's always pushing me in different directions sometimes. So you got to thank her, because I was ready to just do my own thing, and I always do. And she's like, let's try something different. It's springtime. I'm like, okay, but you know me. So we were kind of doing this. But when I left, I'm just going to tell you, okay, this would be totally, open here like we always are, right? I left a little bit kind of like, and it wasn't her. Like, believe me, it wasn't her at all. It was me because I'm used to change, but when it comes to hair, I'm kind of in a still same whatever. And I
comfort zone.
And my comfort zone in my hair, and it was weird because I just figured that out after this happened, right? I was like, damn, why am I so on me about this? And then all of a sudden I started getting compliments. And they was like, Barbara, oh my God, you look so this and that. And it makes sense and all. And I was like, I'm still getting used to it. And then one person just say, stop it. Just take the compliment.
Yay, good for them. Good for them.
So I'm taking the compliment from my other queen bee here. Queen bee. Yes. And love you for that and appreciate it. So just, I'm working on it. I'm working on myself.
Anytime you get out of your comfort zone, it feels a little uncomfortable. And that's where you're at.
And I didn't think it was going to be because of my hair. Other thing, you think other comfort zones, like, but it was like, oh, wow, I'm really got to get out of this. I was like, whoa. Right. Yeah. So.
Different, and that's what I love our topic for today. Oh, hi, I'm Barbara. And we forgot to introduce ourselves again. Barbara Beckley, who are you?
I said, oh, by the way, we're just some two ladies just randomly talking. Well, my name, again, everybody said, well, we know your name, Barbara J. Beckley, of course. And basically, we always try to make sure, you get to know who we are. So my title, if you want to put it that way, is a purpose and visibility strategist. And basically what that really just states is I am here to make sure that you just know why you are on this earth right now and how important you are. And then after that point, I want people to see you shine, just like our show, time to shine happiness. That's why we have it combined, because I want to make sure you got the visibility out there. I want to make sure people know who you are. So that's what I do in all different phases. So that's what I love to do. And Miss B's going to tell her part.
Right. And I'm this is your time. This is your time to shine. Your time right now. You are here for this moment in time. And if you're listening to this show, please believe it. Get out of your comfort zone. I'm Barbara Ellison, and I'm I'm founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. And for you to reach your full potential and then know that everything that you need is already within you. And that's why I love our title for today is How Do You Define Joy? And it's all about mental wellness and mental health. And what happens so often is that people go, oh, well, but what if I'm struggling? Okay, well, welcome to the world. Everybody struggles sometime. However, if you are really struggling, then ask for help. And that is what happens so often. There's just that stigma. And with April 4th is Corporate Mental Awareness Day.
Oh, so tomorrow. Okay.
That's tomorrow. However, it's one of the times that we're really trying, more and more companies are realizing that they have to do something to help their employees to make it a safe place. Because we all struggle at sometimes. I mean, sometimes you can just be feeling blue. Sometimes you can be in a downright funk. Been there, done that. But you know what the thing is, though, is with that awareness comes also the fact that, you can't feel happy if you've never felt sad. There's the two sides of everything. You can't feel hot if you've never felt cold. You don't know what hot feels like if you've never felt cold. Yeah. Those things. But we don't equate those same things with mental wellness or finding joy. You can't find joy if you've never had absolute down in the dumps. You can't feel it because there's the two sides of it. Mm-hmm. And so that's why the importance of mental health and talking about it is so important. It can't be stressed enough. It can't be stressed enough, especially in the workplace. Because you know what that affects? Concentration. It affects performance.
Yes.
It affects your work ethic.
Yes.
Absenteeism.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I'm glad that you're really pinpointing that with the work, within your work, because that's why a lot of times, you hear people say, oh, I'm taking a mental health day today.
Mental health day.
You know what? First, I used to be like, oh, really? And then I'm like, no, really. Now I'm saying, oh, really? You do need to take a mental health day, to the point, my job, because I'm like daytime, I do, corporate, like you do, nighttime, I do my business and everything else. And they included, just after around the pandemic, we have 4 mental health, they call them happy days, but there was 4 mental health days. So we just had ours, well, it was Good Friday, but they call it, I called it Good Friday, they called it Happy Day.
They called it Happy Day.
Yeah. And then they have one
in June. How it works that way.
You know how you have to. Then they have one in June and one in August, and I think one in October. So this is outside of just our regular vacation and personal days. So because they seen, like you said, Barbara, that it is a need.
Right. Because you know what, if they don't address it, they're going to pay the price. You're going to pay the price in some way. Because you're either going to pay it in lost revenue because they're not as productive. You're going to pay for it in absenteeism because people are going to take automatically, they're going to take for themselves a mental health day, but they'll call in sick. All of those things. And now that more and more companies are getting to the point where that, oh, wow, gee, maybe if we take care of our employees,
they'll take care of us.
Thank you. Exactly. And they will reach their full potential, which is what I work with. Let's get you up to working your full potential. And for me, it's a 4-step process. Who are you within what you're doing right now? Are you just your job, or who are you within it? And it doesn't matter whether you are a janitor or you are a CEO. Who are you within that job?
Yes.
Because you are not your job or your job description. Who are you?
Yeah.
But so you have to know who that is. But then you have to find the freedom from the limiting beliefs that, like you with your hair. Oh, gee, do I really like this? Well, that could be because you're not used to it. But now you're finding the freedom from it and going, hey, you know what? I think I'm kind of liking this, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be, woo, wow, because that's how you look. But you don't feel it yet. That's the difference. But then to discover your purpose, which is where you come in. That's knowing what your purpose is.
Yeah.
But then how to take all of those things and make an impact in the world. And that's where your joy comes in.
Yes. I love it. I love how you streamline that. And, I'm loving when we're talking about the title. Because I always tell people, okay, you have a title, then we go deeper. And that's what you were saying, Barbara, you're adding in the purpose in there, because that's going to make you shine and be happy, even in the midst of maybe some things are not going just not like you wanted to during the day. Or maybe what you're doing, you're like, this is it. But no, when you know your true purpose and understanding, that's just I feel like I always tell people, that's just a walk into your journey of life. Of what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
What I do during the day, I've been in insurance forever, right? And I could have sat there and been like, oh, well, is this insurance and stuff like that? But I have took that and got many skills and lessons learned and experience to get to my journey of purpose. So that's why I tell you, when you take it that way, you look at it in a different light, and you say, oh, okay, this is part of this journey of me within what I'm supposed to do and what I'm supposed to be here.
Right. And you don't, and just because you might think, and see, it's all think that is the word there. You might think that you are in just a mundane just doing a job. Well, if that's how you think, then that's how your job is. It's just
Yeah.
If you think, hey, take what your job title is and make it yours, and I'm going to be the best ever at this, then it becomes a whole new category. And one of the things that I loved, years ago, they did a study, because I'm a positive intelligence coach, and one of the studies they did a study on hospital workers. They found that a third of them said, well, it's just a job. A third of them said, well, it's a step on the rung to go up because I need to know and to go up administration or whatever of a hospital. A third of them said, oh, well, this is what I'm called to do. To take care of people when they are at their most vulnerable. And it was like, oh, exactly.
Wow.
And it's all in how you look at it.
Yeah. Wow, Barbara. That's
so profound.
That is very profound. Yeah. And you know, another thing that I love too is you can always change it. I always tell people, you know, this is your movie. This is your production, your life. You can change the players in it. You can change what you're playing in it. You're the director of it. So if you are like, I'm really not liking this, then okay, let's, you know, I'm gonna do some hardcore right now.
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do about it? What changes are you gonna make? We always can, you know, make those changes in the different areas of our lives. And I chose to do that. I mean, I wouldn't be on this platform with Mrs. Queen Bee here if I didn't change some of the trajectory of my life instead of just sitting in a cubicle where I was quiet. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was quiet. I was shy. And some people are like, yeah, right. I was very, very.
And would you believe that now? Yeah.
People are like, you can't shut up. You won't shut up, Barbara. Be quiet, Barbara. But yeah, I was, Barbara. But it took me to look at myself and said, okay, is this going to be the everyday thing? Because it was routine. Like you said, Barbara, it was a routine every day. And that's where I thought I was in. But sometimes it takes I'm going to have to throw this in here too. It takes other people to see what your purpose is sometime before you even see it. And it took my manager at the time, and I always thank her till this day. She's not over me anymore, but you know, we still talk and she's still in the company with me. And she's the one that said, Barbara, you got potential, you got leadership potential, but no one knows you. You're not saying it, you're not talking. And I got offended, Barbara, because I'm like, well, I've been here at that time 17 years. I've been here for 17 years. They don't know me by now. What's going on? And she's like, but you don't talk. You don't say nothing. Yeah.
And that's one of the things, that's one of the limiting beliefs that keeps people down. But you chose to not listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
We can choose every day not to listen to it.
To that static. I call that. Yeah. Yeah, you can't do nothing. You don't talk right. I mean, all that started, you know, because then I was like, well, no one want to hear what I have to say. You know, I was starting to say that. I might not have nothing important to say. And that's what kind of kept me down a little bit, Barbara. And it took myself to move there. And it took that really listening to the other person saying, no, you have potential. You just need to hone it in. That's what you need to do right now. Yeah.
Right. You know, and that's for me, that's where I work. That's why one of the reasons I work with people with positive intelligence, because it's dealing with those voices in your head. I mean, and we have a main judge, but then he has 9 friends. He or she has 9 friends that keeps us stuck or doing stuff that we just like, where did that go? Why did I do that? Well, because you're run by your subconscious. And it's somewhere in your background from the time you were born is everything that you are doing now. I don't care what your age is. And I think I shared with you one day when I'll have to get out the tape of it. That day that I had a fight with my mother. My mother had been gone 8 years, and yet I still had a fight with her. Remember, over my wrinkled sheets. I had a fight with my mother in my head. My mother had been gone. You know, it's my gun, and yet I was still having a fight with her. Where did that come from? Because I was a kid. From when I was a kid. That's just an example of things that if you let them up and just say, really? Is that really the truth? Is that really how I now see life? Does that serve me now? And if it doesn't, let it go.
Barbara, you know, I'm glad you brought that back up about your conversation with your mother, because when you first said that, I was like, oh my gosh, she's still talking. And guess what happened to me just 2 days ago? Just 2 days ago, Barbara.
Oh wow!
Yes, I had that conversation. I was having a conversation with my mother, and even yelling at her. And I know something now. I'm not crazy. Let me just put that out there. Just put a disclaimer. This is not this talking. This is just going back and what she used to tell me and things I used to do, and that voice in my head to the point I'm like, I just do one that was like, I said, be quiet. Right. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I really love about our guest that's coming on is that mental, emotional wellness that we can all have.
Yes.
The thing is, it starts with a decision that you want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we got a wonderful Queen of Queen today. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Her name is in my head all the time because when I first met her, I knew right then and there she was a gem for the world. Get it, diamond gem, all that. Okay, whatever. You'll get it later. But Miss Nance is telling you, Barbara, when I first met her, it's nice when you meet people through other people and when you're doing certain things in life. And we met from another wonderful king. I call him King, Christopher. And I'm gonna put out there real quick. And he put together, he's been a coach forever. He's a kick-ass coach, as he calls himself. And he put together accountability group. And I think I told you about that, where, I was in my mind at the time, I was like, okay, Barbara, I need to get some accountability. I just need to do this to get things done. Well, I joined this group, and guess who else joined the group at the same time? This wonderful queen that's coming on. And he put us in partnership. He's okay, I'll put you in twos. That's what he did the first thing. And I got Nancy. And I was like, wow. I said, I'm not trying to talk about anybody else, but I got I was blessed to get Nancy. And she just opened the door to so many things. And we kept each other on task. And I want her to talk when she comes a little bit about that too, because that's really important part of the joy thing, because you can't do it alone.
Okay, right.
You cannot do it alone. So we're going to bring her on, but I want to, every day I want to start doing this, Barbara, if you don't mind. I'm kind of throwing this. I want to
throw me to the wolves here.
No. This is no. I wouldn't do that. But no, you know how you always bring like the day, what kind of holiday and all that kind of stuff and kind of fun stuff. So I think we're going to start doing that a little bit. So I kind of did some homework and
cool beans.
Yeah. So this is April 3rd. So April 3rd is National Chocolate Mousse Day.
I love chocolate. I like chocolate mousse pie. Now let's really get decadent.
So just get that ready. It's National Find a Rainbow Day.
Oh, now I like that.
That's kind of cute, isn't it? Now this is the part you're going to really get. This is the kicker. It's National Inspiring Joy Day today.
See, divine timing. Divine timing.
That's why I had to bring it up, Barbara. Look at this. I was like, everything's coming together. Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna do some more joy here, and we're gonna bring Miss Nancy on. But before that, we're gonna let our sponsor say a few little words.
Give a little love and joy to our sponsors.
Yeah, they seem like they want to talk, so let's get them to talk. Here we go.
Concerning your career advancement in athletic administration. Do you feel your leadership is invisible or not your desired level? Knowing the right networks can help move you to the next level. Monique A.J. Smith is here to assist you, empower you to your next level. We help leaders see their desired objectives through executive one-on-one coaching, group monthly mastermind virtual gatherings and training, in-person staff development training. Seeds of Empowered has provided staff retreats and workshops. See the future with possibilities and feel in control of your career and become a valued contributor to your leadership career. We'll get you to your career leadership advancement. Increase your possibilities. Contact Monique A.J. Smith today.
Okay, and there she is. There's the queen.
So excited. So excited, so grateful, so honored. Oh my God. National Chocolate Mousse Day. Like, that was created in Canada, right? Because like we've got the mousse up here.
Yes. I never thought of it that way.
See, Nancy's gonna own it already. She's already owning it.
That is
Where else
cool.
does the chocolate mousse come from, right? Like the antlers. Is it antlers? They got, I don't know, they got horns
Yeah, I
up
think
here.
you got the big, yeah. They had the,
Yeah,
yeah.
big. And they are incredible. I remember seeing one in a lake, and it was on the edge of the lake, and the body part was above the water, and the legs. I mean, to see the ginormity of that animal just, sauntering through with effortless ease. Wow, that's cool.
They
Cool.
are beautiful. They
That's
are.
beautiful.
They
Yeah.
really are. They really
A
are.
friend of mine who lives in, I think it's way north. Don't remember exactly where, but she posted a picture one day where she opened up her door, and there was a moose on her porch.
Really?
Oh my!
Wow, that would have freaked me out.
There's a moose on my porch.
Well, the next thing that you'd be seeing is Dudley Do-Right and the Canadian Mounted Police.
Yes.
You know, right? I mean,
Dudley Do-Right. I haven't watched that so much. You brought back memories. But I would have freaked out, probably like, okay, I open my door, here's a moose. Like, really?
I mean, if she lives up there, absolutely, yes. But it was like, and she took a picture, and the moose, it looked like the picture that she took, it looked like the moose was looking in her window.
Wow. That is, yeah.
It was
There's a book series. There's a book series. If you give a moose a pancake, waffle, I can't remember.
Yeah.
There's several book series about if you give they'll keep coming back, and then they'll be asking if you give a moose a pancake, and then they'll come back for maple syrup, I think.
Yes.
I was thinking maple syrup before. Yeah. I was like, okay, they're like, please maple syrup. I just want to give a big shout out to Canada right now. I just want to give a big shout out to Canada, because I know my co-host, she's from Canada, and then we have our host, our guest, our wonderful guest that's from Canada, and that's my other favorite continent. So
yeah,
it's big.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in Canada. It's like huge. I know.
We're expansive. That's what I like about Canada, is that you don't need to go far to be able to be out in nature and see all the beauty that's around you.
Yeah. And I've been to Canada 4 times now in my lifetime. And one time I was to the point of even saying I wanted, and I still say that sometimes, that I want to move there. I really do, because I love the atmosphere. I love, like you said, the nature of it. I love where you can go different places where it's city-like in some places, and you can go in another whole area, and then it's totally opposite. And then the people, oh my God, they treated me so sweet. So I always remember that. See, that's so true about, you always remember the way a person makes you feel. Exactly. And, it's been a while since I've been there, but I always remember how people treated me and how they just welcomed me with open arms. So yeah, they got
I mean, take your beautiful American dollar, expand it, multiply it by 1.25, come to Canada, right, where it's cheap for you guys to visit.
I was okay. You could.
It is, right? Like take your net worth, multiply it by 1.25, and I mean, it's more possible.
Yeah, it's more possible. Yeah,
exactly.
I like that. So Miss Nancy, we always want to make sure that people get some backstory of our guests, because that's important, because what you're doing right now is so powerful, about defining joy, the emotional thing, the whole thing that you do. So give us just a little backstory of how you got to this point.
Ooh, little backstory. Everywhere that I look in my room is my little backstory.
Wow.
My pictures of my daughter, my precious Emily Joy. I've got them everywhere. I mean, just like right there. That's my joy. Emily Joy. So my daughter's middle name is Joy. So everything that I do is in response to the legacy that she created in the 10 beautiful years that she was here.
Yeah.
Everything that I've become is a response to healing from the grief of the loss when she passed away tragically, unexpectedly, all of those things that we don't think of as a parent. I was in a very tumultuous, abusive relationship, and I expected perhaps that my husband would pass before me. I did not expect my daughter. That was just, it was the breaking point in many things in my life. So, in learning to heal myself, I began to develop strategies based on those learnings. It's that template. We get a template and then we're like, I like almost everything about it. What I like most is this and this. So I'm going to keep that. I'll put the other aside. And I kept on doing that. I learned Reiki. I learned spiritual response therapy. I learned Bach flower essences. I took the many things that I learned and created a way to help people, not just on a subconscious emotional level, but a physical level, because the pain is also in the physical body. If we do not connect those dots, then we can't understand why the pain in our neck and the pain in our ass keeps on coming up, right? Legit though, right? Like, who's your pain in the neck, right? When we're talking about mothers and mother-in-laws, and these are the zombies. There's a beautiful song, Zombie. I'm not going to sing it. In my head, and it's true, because that will keep on surfacing. It's like the great big beautiful whales in our ocean. They
Yes.
only come up a little bit on the surface. We only see a teeny tiny bit, but there's a lot underneath that iceberg.
Right.
So it's massive.
Wow.
It's massive. And if you keep on stuffing it and burying it and stuffing and burying it, you're going to become angry, resentful. Your life is going to be a reflection of your inner dialogue. And if you're not happy, then who wants to be around you? And I found that in myself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly true. I mean, we can take any circumstance, and they always say that so often life is not what happens to you, it's how you handle what happens to you. And it's that little bit that, you know what, I am not like one of the things friends of mine and we talked about just on one of my LinkedIn live shows. We talked about what was that pivotal moment that you said, I cannot go on like this for another moment. And then in that moment, you have a choice.
Oh, definitely. You can sink back into the dense energy that holds you down. And it's dense energy like a rock. We talk about that. We talk about burdens and rocks and things that we carry around. But I mean, literally picture a suitcase with every single resentment, betrayal, irritation, anger, frustration. Put those all on a suitcase. Try and pay for that checked baggage. It's expensive.
And it's heavy.
It's heavy.
It's heavy.
Right? Yeah. So unburdening yourself helps. And unburdening is different than forgiveness, because if the person that you're working to forgive is no longer earthbound, they've gone into the next realm, how can you forgive them when they're not here? How can you forgive someone that you have no contact with? How can you forgive the unforgivable? You can unburden. It's a different expression and a different experience.
Right. Yeah. And that, I think it comes into the letting it go, because if we don't let it go, it's like that. I think the saying is, it's like, if you don't let it go, it's like wanting somebody else to die and you're drinking the poison.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happens to people, is that, well, they don't just, it's like, yeah, it's not about them. They don't even know what they did.
I don't even remember.
They may not. They may not. And within every story is a different perspective. Within the truth, there's always a lie.
Died. And there were still some things that I had not forgiven him, that I had not let go of in our marriage. Wow. Oh, brother.
Wow. Yeah.
And
when it comes to the surface, that's when it's an opportunity to heal.
To heal it. Exactly.
Now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. It's funny you're talking about forgiveness and a burden. I know Nancy, you know, I just, every time you talk about, you know, your daughter and stuff and, you know, your loss of that. And then I think about, you know, with my dad, because I lost my dad when I was 17 and I lost him from basically somebody took his life. And I had to wind up forgiving the person that did that. And that was some hardcore stuff, especially at the age of 17, because it was taking me over. It was basically to the point where I started hating him, then hating the world and hating everybody in it. I mean, all of a sudden, all that darkness was going because I was like, why did you take away somebody that really believed in me? You know, that's what I was thinking of. I said, why did the world? And I was starting to blame the world. I said, why did the world take away this? And then I got mad because it seemed like people just like on their day-to-day stuff, doing whatever while I'm dealing with that. I just lost my dad. And you know, it was like almost consuming me. It was really consuming me. And I had to make a decision, just like me and Barbara always says, okay, this is where you're going to make that decision. Either you're going to go right or you're going to go left in your life and say, what are you going to do, Barbara? And I had to ask the question. And I said, okay, while everybody's moving on, you're still holding. Right. So who needs to let go right now? And I had to wind up forgiving that person and letting go. Yeah.
It's powerful. Forgiveness is very, very, very powerful. And when we work through those emotions, we don't go from anger, resentment, vengeance, betrayal to joy, and happiness in a heartbeat.
No.
It's not possible. Joy is a way of being. And doing comes from that being. The doing can amplify the joy. So if you enjoy cooking can amplify the joy. But if you're in an angry state and you're cooking, you're feeding all of that energy into that casserole or whatever it is that you're making. So conscious awareness, right?
I might not want to eat it after I get done cooking it. She said I got all that stuff in there. And then sometimes it's funny you said that, Nancy, because I did that one time and then I burnt stuff and I was like, oh, then I was like,
right. And it fuels itself. Yeah. It's like they've done studies where they've had people talk to glasses of water and then looked at the molecules. When the molecules were in the positive glasses, they were these beautiful starbursts of molecules. The ones and it was like, oh brother. And that's
you can see that frequency in sand as well.
Frequency.
The vibrational frequency of sand with music.
Yeah.
That's another way that you can physically see it. You can physically see it with fire as well. And because we are such a science-driven, cause effect problem solving humanity, we need to see it to believe it. So now we're able to see it much more. So the 3D consciousness of I got to see this, I got to touch it, and the 5D consciousness where there is a difference in vibration, we're in both spaces right now. So it's kind of cool. It's really, really cool. And that's where a lot of astrologists and psychic mediums are speaking about the division. It's two ways of being, 3D and 5D and everything above. Yeah.
And they say the highest vibration is love. And the thing is, so many people, they have not learned how to love themselves. Let's say Barbara and I talk about self-love, self-care. That's all part of self-love. It's not about being, oh, look at me, who am I? That kind of stuff. It's about loving yourself for who you are. And one of the things that I work with my clients is quit beating yourself up for the things that you're not. Let's celebrate the things that you are. What did you do? Instead of looking at your to-do list and look at everything I didn't get done today, okay, but look at what you did get done. It's the two sides that I talked about in the first part of the show. You can't feel joy if you've never felt sadness. You're going to have those things, but it's working more towards the joy than the sorrow.
True,
Yes.
true. And it's creating the experience. We are amazing, powerful manifestors. So, for example, if you were bringing into a room somebody who you still had a grievance with, then you can imagine that grievance being resolved in the most wonderful way. You can bring that ex-husband, you can bring that ex-mother-in-law, you can bring the whole damn fam in if you want. I mean, you got to do it one at a time. It takes a little bit of time to get to that level. And then when you do have that opportunity, because if you're thinking it and you're imagining it and you're speaking it into being, that whole chakra system, the universe is going to gift you with that opportunity, and you'll be prepared. I help people prepare for court cases with visualizations. I help them break through the barriers. Because I mean, come on, think about it. When you're going to court and you're going to see your ex-husband or your ex-brother-in-law or anything like that, your lawyer is going to prep you with questions. You need to prep yourself. You need to check in, so that you can receive the justice. It's beautiful. It's fun.
Boy, Nancy, I wish I had you when I was 17 years old, because
I wish I had me when I went to court many years ago, right?
I wish I had you in my pocket right there, because I needed you back then when I had to go to court and I had to be a character witness for my dad. Yeah. And that was a whole year that we went back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah. I mean, I'm in my 50s now, and it's kind of, I think about like, woof. But when you're 17, you think it was like, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And youth at risk right now? Oh my goodness. Youth at risk is just huge. And youth, it's interesting. Youth was 13 to 17. Is it really 13? In this world where the influencers are impacting our children, and television and movies, is it 13? I'm aiming more for 10.
Yeah. And I was thinking 8 or 9.
Yeah.
A friend
and then when does that end? When do we stop?
Right.
When do we stop the youth? I don't know. If you don't heal it, it keeps going.
Right. Yeah. Because everything that happens in our childhood comes out in us as an adult. And because
look at the drug epidemic.
I was an emotion stuffer for years. Now it's like I will be, and it's like I'll call up a friend and go, look I just need you. I've got to get this out of my body. I've got to get this out of my body because I know it'll come back to haunt me. I've got to get this out of my body. And if you don't have somebody that you can do that with safely, and don't let it go into a pity potty. You're not potty. Pity party. Do not go into a pity party. However, if you don't have somebody that you can do that with, then write it down. Get it out of your body and then burn it. Whatever you have to do, flush it down the toilet, whatever it is, you have to get it out of your body, because exactly what you just said. It'll come back to haunt you somewhere. It'll be a pain in your neck, or you'll have a sore wrist, or you'll have a headache, because your body has to store it somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, most definitely. You'll be clenching your jaw at night. I mean, I'm just talking about me. You'll be waking up with those headaches, those migraines.
Yes.
The shoulders get tight. It's the extremities that act. And it's the extremities that act because our extremities, our hands, our arms, our feet, that's part of the root. So your root begins at the base of your spine. It's actually your perineum area. And that's where you sit. That's your home. That's your finances. That's all of those things. And we're going through that on a regular basis as we're constantly recalibrating our lives. You ladies spoke earlier about that the changes in our lives when we leave the job behind, or the job leaves us behind when you get laid off. The many ways that we can have the rug ripped out from underneath us. What's your foundation? I mean, I always talk about God, universe, and source. I call it Gus.
Mm-hmm.
Easier. It's easier. I reach out to my angels. I reached out to my angels because when Emily died, I put God and Jesus on waivers. We didn't talk.
Yes.
I'm like, y'all got to leave me alone. Like, I mean, I was so angry that when people would put out the beautiful, beautiful candles and pictures, I would take all the pictures of Jesus and put them face down. I'd walk out in the morning before anybody else was there. And then people, who's put Jesus's face down? I never said nothing. I'm like, that was me. Didn't say it. I needed to do that. That's where I was. So coming to a love with angels first helped me. It was a softer fold in. It's a softer fold. Yeah.
Yeah. I know when I was taking care of David before he passed away, I would rail. Why are you taking my husband? He's a worship leader. He's this, he's that, he's this, all of these things. And why are you taking him? And and we can, and the thing is though, we're allowed to do that. Give yourself some grace. And you might not believe in that part of it, but you know what? It's still all part of the universe. The universe will give you grace when you give yourself some grace to feel, to accept it, to be aware of it. Don't stuff it.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Don't stuff it. And
Nancy means grace.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You got grace. You got like Gracie Grace.
Gracie Grace. Grace. I love that.
Grace. And grace as in the natural flow of life. I learned that through Taoism. I've got a tattoo on my back of Winnie the Pooh. It's the cover of the Tao of Pooh. And in the Tao of Pooh, I learned that Winnie the Pooh was P''U, which is the uncarved block. We're all the uncarved block. There's so much potential.
Right.
Cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
Right.
And I always love Winnie the Pooh. That's one of my favorite. I don't know. I love Winnie.
Oh my God. The Tao of Pooh and the Tay of Piglet. My reading, my mom worked in the library when I was a little girl. So I would be at the library. I'd be in the children's section in the basement of the Edmonton Public Library. And they had this really cool castle and they had an iguana and I'd watch it eat lettuce and I'd listen to stories. And then my mom became ill and I spent a year and a half with my cousin while my mom rehabilitated. And I read a lot. I mean, by the time I was in grade 3, I was reading chapter books secretly.
Oh,
wow.
In my room, right? Like I didn't read children's books to my children. I read the Marley. Right, like try and read Marley to your kids at night, right? Like the Tao of Pooh. I read all of those books.
Wow.
It was fun. It gave me more time with them and less time with my ex-husband. So it was
it helped in that aspect as well.
Oh, right. Are you coming yet? No, still reading.
You're still reading the books. we're having joy here.
One of my most joyful memories of our very, very traumatic separation was when he told me to leave. We were at a vacation home in Kelowna, and he told me I could leave, get out of here. And I'm like, no problem. And then he's like, don't forget your books. And I had a whole suitcase full of books. And as he continued throwing insults at me, I threw books at him. I was very angry at the time. So, but that's where I was.
Right.
And to be able to look at that memory now, I mean, I'm writing my memoir.
Yes.
It's a beautiful experience. I've got the book cover on my phone. I can't bring it out yet. Oh my God.
Ooh, yay.
It's such a blessing.
Right.
And I had to invest a tremendous amount of me and then ask for help, right? Like we were talking earlier about the people that help us, our accountability coaches, our accountability partners, our editors, the beta readers that I've had. the publisher who is just holding my hand and my heart through this process. I mean, this is the 7th or 8th book that I've been in. What a blessing.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been working so hard on your memoir book, Nancy, and I just congratulate you. Like you said, with everybody, you had a team with you. You know, that's a team. Everybody you mentioned is your team, and even the angels. So
Oh, the angels. Well, and because I'm still recovering from some tendon issues that start, we don't know where they started. They were thinking that they start here. And actually, that's exactly where they start because it really hurts there. All the way up my shoulder, all the way down my arm. I began to use the dictation on my phone. Well, the dictation's only so good. So the words, oh my God, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
then I've got another gal that's helping me correct that. Because, like, I mean, my fiance's last name is Cuglietta. So you can only imagine what dictation.
Oh, yeah.
It just.
I got could glue and oh my goodness.
Yeah, dictation sometimes it does its own little.
But finding a way to be happy through that. You know, I love what I do. Barbara, what you said before, love is powerful.
Love is powerful. Yeah. But it starts with loving ourselves.
Yes.
We have to love ourselves first because you can't give out of an empty cup.
No, you can't. You can't do it. You cannot
give out of an empty cup.
Well, and it's the words that we use. So Barbara and I remember we were talking when we were accountability partners, and it was things like deadline. Who wants a deadline? That's gross. There's a dead in the line. I don't want that. Opportunity line.
Right.
I love what
like the bucket list. Yeah. Oh, you kick the bucket? Gross. Joy list. Right? Like I'm a wordsmith, so I know the power and the energy behind words.
Right.
When you can transform that, wow, it's cool.
Yeah, that was powerful. That's one of the things, well, many things that Nancy was showing me when we were accountability partners is different words, how they make you feel and how you get things done with those words. Like, yeah, I was like, you're right. There's a deadline. Never make it.
You'll never make it. It'll never come. And like one of my favorite words now that I've really shifted is from when I'm talking about what I do. You know, I want to showcase what's available for you. Not what I'm going to show you in this, but how I can showcase what's available for you. Then you'll decide what you want out of the showcase. It's kind of like looking at jewelry. Ooh, I like, that ring. Oh, I like that ring. Do I want that ring? That's exactly what we all have that choice. And so when that word shifted for me, it was like, okay, where's the word showcase been for all my life? You know, it was like the best thing since sliced bread. To just because I showcase what's available for you.
Well, you know what? I hate to cut this conversation off. I really do. We have to showcase and showcase and tell Nancy, thank you so much for showcasing yourself today. Being on Time to Shine, having a show. You're a family now. You can come back anytime.
Oh, looking forward to it. Forward to it. It's a creative adventure that is just filled with love.
Yes. Love.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, your last. I know you have to do your.
Oh yeah. Right. I mean, let's all make happiness the norm rather than the exception, because each and every one of us, and I'm talking to you, I'm looking straight in the camera. I'm talking to you. You deserve to have a happy, healthy, debt-free, abundant life, whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you. And we're just here to give you some options and give you some little words of wisdom or showcase what has brought us to our level of joy and happiness and abundant living. So yes, absolutely.
Love it.
That's awesome. And see everybody next Tuesday. I mean, next
Wednesday.
Tuesday, new day. See, I got to get used to it.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye, everybody.